Okay, so I'm just going to start the webinar now. Let's say it's going to be a preview of the new editor and also the image editor as well. So a lot of you will have this same screen that I'm seeing at the moment. If you haven't actually upgraded to the new editor yet, then you'll see a top section on this home screen which allows you to actually upgrade to that editor. And once you do that, you'll gain access to 80 responsive templates. You'll also gain access to the new image editor, which I'm going to explain how it all works today for you. So first of all, you would click on emails on the left hand side here. This takes you to the content hub. So in this section we've got the template library, which has the responsive templates that you can use. It also has my emails, so if you've created any emails before, then you can gather those from there. You've got my templates, so if you've got a template or an email that you've created and you want to use that for your monthly newsletter, then what you can do is you can save it as a template or move it to the templates folder, and that will give it a template structure, so you can actually click use and just simply use it for your next update. You've also got the image and file library. You've got the option to paste your own HTML code or just upload from a file. So in that section you can upload the HTML file, you can upload it with images in a zip folder, and also you can upload from Word as well. I wouldn't suggest that you use Word because it does have some rendering issues in Outlook. It's far better to use one of the templates. But if you're just using a simple structure within Word, you shouldn't find any issues. The other option that we've got here is the RSS feed. Now this option allows you to take content from a blog or from any RSS feed that you have, and it inputs into a newsletter for you, and you can have it scheduled out, so then you don't need to do anything else. You just set it to schedule on a weekly or daily basis and it will do so. So we're just going to move on to the template library, and I'll show you the templates that we have access to and also how they work. Okay, so we've got an option on the left hand side here which is the filter by. So within that section you can actually choose a layout that you like the look of. So if you wanted maybe 2-column templates, and you can click on that one and then it'll select the 2-column template so you can view them all within this screen here. The basic templates at the top here, they're the newest templates that we've inputted. As I say, they're very basic, so they haven't really got a colour scheme yet, which allows you to add your own colour scheme into quite easily. The other templates that we have, for example this cycle shop one, if I click on it to view it in a bigger screen, you'll see that this has already got a colour scheme and a theme going on. But again, you can change all of the colours and all of the images and obviously any text and links that you want within this section to actually suit your own needs. So I'm just going to select this one so we can actually start editing it. So this is going to take us into the editor where we can start making some changes to that template. Okay, so as I say, we are now in the editor. So this is our latest editor. So if you haven't upgraded already, it is free to upgrade to, so it doesn't cost you any extra. And the benefit to this editor, it has many, but the first benefit that we've got is actually it's created, the templates are created in blocks. So that means that you can hover over each of the content blocks and actually add using the plus symbol. And you can also just move them as well. So if you wanted to move it around, then you can do that. And also you can use the delete button to remove the block. So if I just quickly remove it, you can confirm that I'd like to remove it. So you can see that section there has been removed. So if I scroll down into this bit down here, and we can actually just duplicate that block by the plus symbol. Obviously we've got a space on the right there, so if I duplicate that one as well, so immediately we've quite easily got new images and new text blocks that we can actually use to add more content into our template. So when you actually come to editing one of the blocks, for example this cycle news, if I click on that one, at the top section of the editor you'll see that you've got text format, so you can actually highlight some of the text and change the font that it's using. So you can see that it's using Arial here, so you can change that down there. So if you want to use, for example, Comic Sans, you can click on that one, and also you can change the font size of it, so if you want to make it maybe a little bit bigger, and of course you can change the color as well. So again, if you wanted to change the color, then you can do that. You notice we've got a hex code here, so if you've got your own color that's specifically for your site, then you can actually use that, or you can use the RGB there as well. So the other options that we've got at the top in the format area are options to cut and paste. So if you're actually copying and pasting from Word, I would strongly suggest that you use this option here, which is the paste from Word. Now the reason why we suggest that is because when you copy and paste from Microsoft Word, it actually brings over some rogue HTML code that you can't actually see, and sometimes that can break it within Outlook, as Outlook uses the same Word rendering system to display your emails. The other options, just quite standard, you've got underline, you've got italics and bold, you've got strike through, and also you've got some special characters. So if you click on that one, you'll have a new keyboard that will display, as you can see here, and we can actually choose one of the characters that we'd like to input. So I'm just going to cancel that for a moment because I don't need to input any of those. So if I move down to this section here, and we've got options here to paragraph, so we can add bullet points, we can do an indent into it. So if I just create a space here and just put a heading, and I might want to indent that a little bit, so I can just indent that there, as you can see, and now that's indented a little bit. The other options that you've got as well is you can highlight some text, and if you just want to make it centered, then you can do that using the center option there. So again, that's just centered that section for you. Now, more advanced options are within the content block area. So within this area, if I just select content block again, you've got the background color. So at the moment the background color is white, but you might want to make it stand out a little bit. So you might want to just put it a bit grey. So again, you can see a grey there. Or if you want to make it stand out even more, we can use a darker grey, so you can see that there as well. So I just move that back to the lighter grey because it looks a little bit better. We've got the borders as well, so if you want to add any borders, then you can just select where you want the border to be. So for example, if you wanted one all around that content block, then you can do that. Currently it's set to solid, and it's got a border width of 1 pixel, so you can actually change that to maybe 4 to make it obviously a lot darker. You can also change it from being solid to something else, and obviously again you can change the color, so if you wanted to set the color there as well. Now one of the more features that you would use within here is the spacing. So you can actually select the spacing to be all around, and if you want to set it to 10, then you can see straight away that it puts the spacing around that cell. So again, it just makes it a bit easier to read when you're looking at it, and also more specifically for mobiles as well. So if you've got some spacing, the text isn't sort of reaching the end of the cell, so again it's quite a lot easier for people to read on mobiles. Now one of the more advanced options in here is the HTML option. So if I click on that, you can see the HTML code, but what this does is it actually shows you the code just for that content block that you've selected. So it makes it a lot easier in this instance that you don't see all of the code, you just see the sections that you're actually looking at. So here we can see we've got the image, we've got the alt text for the image there, and also we can see different options here. So if you're comfortable editing the code, then you can edit, say, the style of the font that you want. So you can change all of the line height. You can change different things in there as well. Once you've made a change, all you need to do is click Update, and then that will reflect on the design screen that you're using, and you can just continue designing from that same screen. If you click on any of the images like I have there, you'll notice at the top here it's changed to image format. So you've got the properties of the image. So if you want, you've got the width that is set, and also the height there as well. You've got the alignment, which you can set, and borders. So again, you can set a particular border around an image if you wanted a solid one, just to make sure that it stands out a little bit more. More importantly though, you have the alt text. So the alt text will actually display when the image isn't displaying within the email client. So a lot of email clients have images turned off. So this is your opportunity to try and entice them to download the images and turn them on, so they can see your email and obviously the full images as well. So if you were to change that, so you might put like track, and then obviously when the email comes through, somebody can see that actually it's going to be relating to a bike track, so we'll have a look at that. Just moving on to the overall styles, you've got the styles option on the left hand side there. So you've got the body text, so you can actually set what style you want overall. Just gonna click off that just so we can see a little better. So you've got the font that you can have overall. Again, you can just use a drop down menu, and then that'll change most of the font that's set, unless you've got a specific requirement in there. You can also see that you've got the color and obviously the font size as well. Again with the borders, and one of the most important options here is the links. So you can actually change the links to be red, and you might want to put an underline, or you might not want to have an underline, so you can change that there. And of course the background color of the whole screen, so if you want to change the background color on there, then you can do that as well. So if we were to change background color here, you can see that background color has changed there now. So we'll just move that back over to white. Looks a little bit better. Okay, so the next option that I'm going to show you is how to actually personalize the email. So if we have a content block, we can use this option here to copy it, and then we can delete the image, so we can have a space to add our introduction into the email. But rather than doing that, I'm going to go to the top left corner here, and I'm going to actually drag the content block in. So I'm going to drag it over to this section here, and once that's in there, you can see that we've got this option here. So in here we can start adding some text. So we might say dear, and then first name, this is an intro. So of course at the moment that doesn't look very good because it's all towards the edge. So if we just put spacing on it, so if we go all, and we might want to set the spacing to 20, so then it comes in on a little bit, as you can see there. Okay, so now that looks a little bit better. I'm going to actually insert the personalization. So to do that, you click on personalize on the left hand side here, and then you've got personalization. So what you can do is you can select the details from the subscriber, or you can also select your own details, so if you want yours to display. As it's going to be sent to the subscriber and we want to introduce ourselves to them and say hello, if it was me it would be Jake, so we actually want to insert the first name there, and we're going to click insert. So as easy as that, that's been inserted, so then we can check that's working later on, which I'll show you how to do that. And we can obviously just continue working on our newsletter. So if I just scroll down, and if I want to actually insert some other links into the email, so we've got read more here. So if we click on the links on the left hand side there, and we've got an anchor link. So if your email is very long, then you might have a section at the top that's telling them what's going to be in that email, and you can actually anchor it, so when someone clicks on, say, race day nutrition, or something that's further on in your email like next race dates, then they will be taken to that section. I'm just going to input a simple hyperlink onto this one though, so I'm going to click on hyperlinks. So we've got the URL, so you can actually insert, as I said before, an anchor, but also you can insert an email address if you want to. But as ours is just going to be an anchor, so you just put your website address in there. And you can just simply click insert. So you'll notice straight away that the hyperlink has went red due to the styles that we've applied up here. So if I change those styles over, and if I say I want it to be a specific blue color, so if I'm going to input my hex code for blue, and you can see straight away again, then that's changed it over to blue. So you can easily manage all of the hyperlinks that you're putting in. Now when you're sending an email out, some people will want to put an attachment into the email. Now if you send an attachment like you would normally, some recipient servers might be a bit more suspicious about it, purely because they don't know what that attachment is. So if they download it, it could obviously be a virus or something like that. So you've got a higher chance of the email going into the junk mail. So what I would suggest is that you actually link to it within the email itself. So for example, you might have an option that says download our PDF. So we've got this option here, and if you want to scroll along and highlight that, you've got hyperlinks, so you can click hyperlink here. And if we go to other links this time, you've got the newsletters that you've created. So if you want to link to a newsletter, you've got subscriber links. So if you want to insert a subscriber or forward to a friend, you can also do that there. But if we just want a file link, you click on file link, and then you just simply select whatever file you want to link to. So for example, that one, click insert, and then that will automatically be linked to it. So we know that when the recipient clicks on that link, they can download the attachment which we were going to use. Instead, they just click on it and it downloads for them, and we're not going to get penalized for having the attachment added in there. So the other options, if you scroll down to the bottom of the email, we can see that we've got some Facebook and Twitter icons down here. If we actually want to replace them with some of the icons that are available within the editor, so if you go to social on the left hand side here, and for example if you want Facebook, you can click on the Facebook option there. And there's two ways you can do this. The first way is to follow your Facebook page. So obviously you can use one of the smaller follow options or just an option there. And then this would just have your Facebook page in there. The other option that we've got is to allow people to actually share it. So if you click on that one, the share option, that'll basically, when the recipient receives the email, they'll have an option to actually share the email themselves on their own Facebook. So again, it gets your email to a wider audience. So it's always a good idea to insert things like those. So straight away you've got the share option down there. If we just delete that Twitter one, we can actually input the Twitter one as well, so you can see what that looks like. Okay, so we've changed some of those icons down at the bottom there, and we can see that option there. Now, one of the things that we can see is that it's obviously, because the images are a bit bigger, it's squashed the smaller image down at the bottom. So that's a perfect example of when you would actually edit the table itself, and also when you would edit the code if you're happy to do that. If you just want to edit the table, you can actually just right click and go to table properties. And what you can do in here is you've got more advanced options, and you've got the alignment, obviously you've got different options there, but one of them is just the width of the table. So if you change that to 200, make that a bit bigger, you can immediately see that's bigger, and also the icons are a bit more noticeable now, so we can actually see what they look like. So if I just scroll a little bit further up, and what we'll do is we'll insert a video now so I can show you how that works. So if I delete this image here, because we don't want that image to display, we actually want to display a video. So what I'm going to do is go to media on the left hand side there, and I'm going to select video. So what this does is it allows you to put in a URL. So I just paste the one that it's not there anymore, so I'm just going to quickly type that in for you. And what this is going to do is it actually is going to let us get a video of show us what the video looks like. It'll take a screenshot, and it'll also allow us to have that screenshot a certain size and a link to it. So if you just bear with me one moment, I'm just going to get that for you. So I'm just going to locate that video. Okay, so I'm just getting this video for you now, and then we'll just insert it. Okay, so what you should see is I've just got the video URL, so it's just from YouTube. You can use other sources, such as Vimeo, but if you just click on Setup, what this is going to do is it's going to generate and look for that video. So as we can see here, it's found the video, it's put a play button on it, and we can use a scroll bar just to make it a bit bigger so we can actually see it there. And obviously you can change the size when it's in the editor, but if we just change it now, and if I scroll down a little bit, we can actually see the title of it. So that title will be displayed underneath the video, and also it'll be hyperlinked as well. So if you want to change the title of that, then you can just use the text box there. If you're happy with it, just click Insert, and we can immediately see that that video is there. We've got the title underneath, and also we've got the play button. So this just easily hyperlinks to the video that you want people to view, and also you can make sure that it's not going to cause any issues with the video playing in the email, because it's simply going to link to that video for you. So they're playing it in the browser, and it obviously just make sure that they can actually view it and make changes, and obviously view the video on YouTube there for you. So the final thing I'm going to show you is how to insert and upload an image, and also I'm going to show you how the new image editor works. So I'm just going to delete that image there, and we're going to go and insert an image in its place. So if I click on Media on the left hand side there, and then select Image, so we've got different images already set up. So if you wanted to use one of those images, you just simply click on it, and then you've got the option to insert it, or you've got the option to actually edit or delete as well. So you can actually edit it using that icon there, or you can delete it if you don't want to use it. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to upload this image here. So I'm going to just browse for it quickly. And I've selected the one I want, so I'm just going to have that inserted there. Okay, so you get this option here, so you can actually say you're done, and when you click it's done, then it's going to go into wherever your cursor was selected, or you can see you're going to go to library, and then you can actually start editing it. So if I click go to library, you can see that the new banner image that I've just inserted is available there. I'm going to tick it, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the edit icon there, and then that's going to take us into the new image editor. Okay, so this is a new image editor. Just give it a moment to load the image on it. And what you'll see at the top here is we've got numerous tools that we can use to enhance and also edit the image. Now when you insert an image into this editor, or into any of your templates, the image will have a fixed width in it, but it'll also have 100%, so it looks good in your mobile as well. So if it gets to a certain size on a mobile screen, for example, then it'll change to 100% so it adapts. Now what we can see is at the bottom of the option here, we can see that this image here is 800 pixels wide by 400 height. So I'm actually going to resize that because I don't want it to be that big. So if I click on resize, and we can set 650, and we can see that height is changing there. And if I just click apply, you can now see the bottom is set to 650. So that's the right size for my email if I want to use it as a banner image at the very top. Also what you've got is enhance. So you've got the enhance option here. So if we make it HD, it just highlights it and gives it a better definition there. So we can see that and we can apply that. One of the other effects here is you can actually change the color scheme on it. So if you want to use one of these color schemes that's available, for example, if you change it to that, it obviously makes it highlighted a bit different. You can go through any of these to obviously change it. If you don't want to use it, you can go back to the original, or you can just click cancel, and then what I'll do is it'll bring you back to the main screen. The other option that we've got is just to enlarge the image that we're actually editing so we can see it a bit better. So we click on that enlarge option and we're just going to make it a bit bigger there. And if I click on it again, I can actually get rid of that scroll bar. So we've got a frame that we can include it onto. So this frame would display all the way around the image. So you can see that one there, or we can go for one of these options again. So it just means that you can actually have the banner, the border, sorry, on the image rather than using the code. So we just cancel that. And you've got the option to crop as well. So within the crop you can set a specific height and width, or you can choose one of the pre-set options there. Or what else you can do as well is you can actually just use the scroller to actually zoom in and zoom out into where you would want it to be. So I just click cancel because I don't need to crop it. The other option, one of the more features that we've got, is the focus. So you can see straight away with this focus option you can actually make it bigger or you can make it smaller. So for example, if we just want to focus in on the iPhone, for example, if we scroll down here and we can make it focus in on this iPhone, just make it a bit bigger. So we've got the iPhone and the iPad there. So you can see how the rest of it's actually blurry. So this means that you can use a big image but just have a certain section of that image as the main focus so people can see and obviously click on that area just to highlight it. If I cancel that, I'm just going to show you one of the other options. So you've got the sharpness option here, and you can just scroll it just to make it sharper. So straight away you can see that that's made it a lot more sharper than what it was. And again, if you scroll down, if it's not looking as good as what you want it to, you can change it. So that's what it looks like originally. And if you use the sharpness tool just a little bit, you can see that the text there is highlighted a bit better, and also some of the colors are a bit better there as well. So I'm going to apply that there. And again, you've got the contrast. So if you want to use the contrast option, you can make that the colors a little bit better. And the saturation does a similar thing as well. It just makes and highlights the colors, so it makes them a bit more prominent. So again, you can apply that. So you notice we've got these arrows here, but we haven't actually got any main text above the top. So I'll scroll along the bar. I'm going to click text here. So here I'm just going to enter text. And I'm just going to put responsive templates. I'm going to highlight the text and I'm going to choose a color, so we can actually use the scroll bar and we can set a specific color. So as the rest of it's just kind of grey, I'm going to use one of the darker greys, which looks okay. And I'm also going to change the font because I don't really like that font, so I'm going to use one of these fonts that's preset. So if we go for that one there, okay. So you'll notice when that's in there, you can delete it using that icon, or you can make it bigger as well, and you can also change the way it's presented as well. So it might be just a bit too small, or it might be a bit too big. So you can use this option here to actually set it where you want, and you can move it around as well. So you can again just have it where you want it to go. So when you click apply, that's obviously going to save that change, and you can continue to make changes to it. You've also got the button down at the bottom left to actually undo any options that you've changed. But if you click save, what it's going to do is it's going to create another image based on your original image, but with these new improvements, and it means that you've kept the original. So if I click save here, and then it's saving this image as it is, and we can actually use that image in our email. So you can see straight away you've got the banner image and then you've got the banner edited image. So if I click on that one there, and we've got the option to insert, we've also got the option to edit again, but if we just want to insert it there, then we can insert it into wherever the cursor was previously, and obviously that will be added for you. Okay, so you can see that one there, it's just been added there. Again, you can obviously change the images in that section as well if you wanted to. So if we go to the very top, we can see that it's just got the default name, which is the time and date. So if I change this one to edit a demo, and if I come off it, it'll automatically save. So it'll rename that one there, so you can see it's been renamed. If we then go to save at the top here, we've got two options. We've got save it as a newsletter, so then we can just save it to one of our folders and just continue editing it. The other option is save it as a template. Now when you save it as a template, as I explained earlier, it'll actually go into the templates folder, and rather than editing it, it'll say use, and then it'll actually use it as a base for your other newsletters. So you can click on that one and we can click save, and what that's going to do is, as I said before, it's going to save it into the templates folder so we can just continue using it later on. So now we've made all these changes, obviously what you might want to do is send a test. So you can actually send a test within the editor now. So if you wanted to send a test to your email address, just pop your email address in there and pop in a subject line and then just click send a test. You can wait for that to come through, and then obviously you can start making some more relevant changes if they're needed. You've also got a preview option at the top here, so you can see what it looks like on a desktop. So if I scroll down, this is what it's going to look like here. We can see what it looks like on a tablet, which will be very similar to the desktop because of the size of the template. But where you see the main change is going to be on the mobile. So you'll see that the hyperlinks are now below the image. You've also got the blocks that are below one another rather than side by side, so you can see that there. Again, you've got this section here which has got the stay ahead of the pack, and the button is below that section, and so on. So that's the main change. So it just makes the template a lot more reader friendly on the mobile. So when they're looking at it, they can easily click on buttons, they can easily look at the text and read it, and obviously take any action that you're requesting. So that's been a demonstration of the editor and the image editor itself. There is one final thing that I want to show you guys. So if I click on finish, and just give it a moment, I'm just going to cancel that and just click finish again. Okay, so I'm just going to name it again. We're just going to save and exit that. What I'm going to show you is how we can actually see that the personalization within this newsletter is working. So when it comes out of the editor, all we need to do is we need to click on the send option, which is on the left hand side, and then we're going to go to a preview where we can select the newsletter that we've been editing, and also we can select who we're going to send it to. So if I click on send on the left hand side here, and as I said, we're going to click on preview. So in this preview screen we can see the mailing list I'm going to send to. So these are just example email addresses that I've put in, and I've also put additional information with them like the first names and so on. And again, you've got the options here. So we've got the editor demo that we did. So you can see straight away that the name is displaying. So we've got first name. Again, if you wanted to change that, you can actually go to the next email address. So we can see that it's changed to example 10 rather than one before, and now the name has changed to Richard. So this just quickly gives you an easy way to check that the personalization is working. Obviously we'd still suggest that you send a test using the option on the left hand side or within the editor, but this is one of the quickest ways to actually check your email before you're sending it out. Okay, so again, just thanks for watching this.